But first, we want to, Ephraim, talk about the WNBA. Cheryl Miller, who's a little worked up about the new television contract that the NBA got and the share that it gave the WNBA out of all of the, what was it, $76 million over 11 years?
$76 billion.
A billion, I'm sorry, over 11 years, Rob G. And tell us the amount of money the WNBA got out of that.
So on the current media rights deal, the WNBA receives $60 million a season from the NBA because, again, they are subsidized by the NBA. With this new television contract kicking in starting after this next season, that number is being raised over 300%. They're going to be receiving $200 million a year for a total of $2.2 billion. Only problem is the WNBA Players Association president and now Cheryl Miller are unhappy about the massive raise. Take a listen.
Reporting about a $2.2 billion media rights deal out there.
There's rumor of it?
Reporting about the next media rights deal.
Then if you, I'm not great with numbers, lowball.
Why do you say that?
That's a lowball. You're saying how much?
$2.2 billion over 11
Not
years.
enough. Not even close. Now, I'm not trying to inflate it a whole lot, but a 2's nice, and 8 would be better. That's what I'm talking about, because they know. They know. And we certainly have come a long way. And I'm not about gouging, but it's a long time overdue, and we're going to continue to get better and better. All you have to do is look at, college basketball and what's coming next, the next wave of excitement. And you have this now, and pretty soon we're going to add another gold medal. So women's basketball is in a great place right now.
Cheryl Miller, is this on? Stop it! Cheryl Miller, I get it. You had the microphone, somebody asked you a question, so you decided. But what Cheryl Miller doesn't understand, that before this year and Caitlin Clark, the W in WNBA stood for welfare, okay? That's what it stood for, Ephraim. And for years, for 29 years, they've been taking the 160-ounce box of Frosted Flakes with no sugar on it and the government cheese from the NBA as this league lost money. Hand over fist. It lost money. And now, all of a sudden, a 300% increase ain't good enough. Cheryl Miller, stop it. I got news for you. Caitlin Clark is the Harlem Globetrotters. When she goes and plays, they show up and the numbers are there. They still getting 5,000 and 6,000 at these other games where Caitlin Clark is nowhere to be seen. They still aren't watching those games. So before you get big and bad and tell us how great it is, even this year with Caitlin Clark, these aren't Robopedia numbers. These are from the Washington Post. The WNBA, the welfare NBA, as I'll call it, is scheduled to lose $50 million this year. So, Cheryl, you want an 8? You want $8 billion? Pay back all the money the last 29 years that the NBA put in. If this was a real business, Ephraim, this league would have been out of business 25 years ago, okay? If it was a real business.
Well, and look, I'm not going to go so far as to disrespect the WNBA calling the W welfare, okay? I'm not going to be that. I'm not going to be that guy. I'm married. I got a wife at home, a woman at home.
Okay.
But I will say this. I think it's tremendous. I think the opportunity to increase player salaries for the women of the WNBA is amazing. Most of the women who star in the WNBA in the offseason go play overseas so they can subsidize their income. A la the whole Brittany Griner situation where, she got in trouble and imprisoned in Russia because she was going over there to play because that was her other team.
That's the only way she can make money.
Played, right. Exactly. So I get that. This increase in the $2.2 billion, I think, at a 300% increase than what it was, I think is tremendous. You're absolutely right. Since 97, the WNBA has been losing $10 million a year that the NBA has subsidized. This year it's going to be $50 million, and some may be asking, well, how is that possible when viewership and numbers are up? It's because they now have chartered flights.
Right, their expenses have gone up.
So each team, I believe the chartered flights are about roughly $25 million to charter all these flights or something like that.
That's because the stock for Southwest went down now that the WNBA is not on it anymore.
And so business is business. Emotions are emotions, but numbers don't lie. And that's the thing, right? So when you're dealing with business and you're dealing with revenue and profit sharing and all of those things, those numbers are pretty precise. Now, having an increase of $2.2 billion over the next 11 years, I think is tremendous. Having a $200 million boost every year for the WNBA, I think is tremendous. I think it's tremendous strides. What I would say to Cheryl Miller, who was a GOAT, all right, an all-time great. I remember when Cheryl was younger.
Not when it comes to math numbers.
She said she's not good with numbers.
Right.
She said that.
And thank you for saying it.
But that's what she said. That's her. But, I mean, I remember this was the first conversation where they were like, man, there's a woman who can play in the NBA, and it was her. And so I respect her game and her knowledge of the game, and it was awesome watching her coach in the All-Star game. But the reality of the situation is we have the WNBA has not been profitable at all ever. And in order to get that 2 to an 8, you have to be profitable. Now, I agree with what she's saying. We're at all-time high in women's basketball, women's sports in general. The new crop of kids, the Jujus in college, and all of that, it's coming, right? It's coming. It's not here yet.
I get that, but it still doesn't translate. And I've said this forever. Until women start going to WNBA games.
Well, yeah, that's what it's all about.
You don't need the men. You don't even need the men. Women take their kids, their husband, their boyfriends to WNBA games. You sell out. You watch the games. The bottom line, business, okay? If you got the numbers, business will say, what? Oh, they're watching. Oh, the building is sold out. Oh, the tickets season tickets got snapped up in 3 hours. Yep. Dude, it's business.
It happened in Indiana, but that's the only place it happened.
Right, and that's what I'm trying to say. You're looking at what Caitlin Clark has done, and you're trying to act like it's over the entire league. It's not.
It's not.
But
that's the perception of it.
Right.
Because we see her play more than anybody else. We talk about her more than anybody else. So the perception is, oh, this league
is hot. My God.
It's blowing up. It's booming. That's not necessarily the case. She is a tremendous talent. I think what her, Angel Reese is doing, them being in the All-Star game together, playing together, I think it's the awesome next correct steps for building this brand into something that is profitable, something that is going to grow in the near future and keep going, something that's driving young girls to play and want to be great. I think all of those are right. But to skip, so you not only want a 300 increase in revenue isn't good and money isn't good enough. You want like a 1,200,
right?
1,200% increase,
right? Like which is in business is unheard of. It's unheard of. Nobody.
Did y'all invent the iPhone?
Right. Not exactly. There was something that was never on the planet before that came into play under the WNBA.
And I don't want to be disrespectful to Cheryl because she's a GOAT.
Right, but this is not about her personally or about her ability to play or where she stands in women's basketball. I'm telling you her math is wrong. And I'm telling you that they've been subsidized for almost 30 years, okay? If this was real business, Cheryl Miller, the league would have been boarded up 25 years ago. Mm-hmm. Like you open up a business, Ephraim. I own a barbershop in Detroit. 22 years. Like if we weren't making money, you think we'd still be open?
No.
Of course not.
Is that where you get your hair cut?
No.
Oh, okay, good.
That's here in L.A.
Okay,
No,
yes, guys.
I need a haircut. I got an appointment. Be quiet, Ephraim. Don't take away from what I'm trying to say
I'm
here.
I'm not. You're making a great point.
But that's what it comes down to. And I don't know what math they're doing in the WNBA, and they see the big contract.
Well, it's flashy right now. It's hot right now.
And they think that they deserve the same thing, and they should be making the same salaries that the NBA players are making. Where's our $200 million deal? What?
No. Look, the fact that you can watch WNBA games regularly on television this year is another big step.
Right.
Like, they were on, like, YouTube. They were on, like, I mean, I wouldn't even have known outside of one or two games what the TV deal looked like for a WNBA game prior to this season.
I can remember I had 4 tickets to a Sparks game, LA Sparks game. And I was like, I'm not going. I left them on my windshield. I went inside to a restaurant. I came back out. And there were 8 tickets and a big chunk of government cheese.
Oh, my God. I knew for a fact I wasn't going nowhere good.
All right.
Gracious. We're out of control.